Welcome everybody to tonight's broadcast. I was going to put this on Instagram and Facebook for you today, but apparently all of Facebook and Instagram are down all over the world today. I'm not sure, like it's that they feel like that's something very big. So we are live in a webinar and have a few people on with us this evening who are watching. This is going to be recorded for you so you can watch it. And we are going to be tackling one very important question this evening, and that's, why do I know what I should be doing and I'm just not doing it? Why do I know what I should be doing for my health and my weight loss? I'm just not doing it. It's the most frustrating question in the world, and we're going to answer that question. But before we answer that question, I'll give you a quick background. Maybe we've met each other, maybe we haven't. My name is Maya. I'm a behavioral registered dietitian, founder here at Nuaria. Nuaria is a center for change, meaning we help close the gap for you between where you're at and where it is that you want to be. We do this through behavior change, and not just habit behavior change, not just physical behaviors, but as you'll learn this evening, and now as you watch this video, probably recording for you, is your thought and emotional habits, which we'll get into in a moment. Now we focus on two specific areas: chronic disease, so chronic pain, weight loss, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and then poor mental health, stress, anxiety, depression, even overwhelm, hopelessness, depression, despair, and frustration. You're in the right place. If you know exactly what you should be doing and you're just not doing it, we're going to answer that question for you. And I'll tell you something, it's not because you don't have enough willpower or because you're not strong enough. If you've been told those things or tell yourself those things, don't believe it. You don't need to believe it. It's not true. It doesn't, it's just not the truth. And so we can move beyond that. And I guarantee you, after 14 years, I guarantee you that you are about to hear something new this evening, and you're going to be looking at things, similar things or life circumstances in your life a little bit differently than you've ever looked at it before. And because we're going to learn to start thinking about things a little bit differently. And that's my whole intention for you this evening and for this video and this webcast is only one thing. It is only awareness. That is it. We are not here to make massive change in this moment, although that's what the Nuaria program is for, and then with the Nuaria weight loss program. We're here to just increase your level of awareness. And we're going to do it around one question, and I'm here in our whiteboard in our support group meeting room, so it's a little echoey, but you can still hear me just fine. Is, why do I know what I should be doing and I'm just not doing it? This is the question that we are going to answer this evening for you. And if you can't read my handwriting, that is okay. So let me give you a quick little background. Like I said, maybe we've met, maybe we have not. My name is Maya, and by trade, I'm a behavioral dietitian, but I grew up in the Lebanese household. Food was love. And when you had a bad day, macaroni and cheese made you feel better. So really early on, I made that neural connection in my brain that food makes you feel good. And I had lots of evidence in my life that it was the absolute truth. So I was much heavier in my younger years, much heavier, much closer to 200 pounds. And it was just a norm. It was just the culture, the society. You know, if you're Italian, if you're, there's so many different cultures that are like this. I think everything revolves around food and celebration. So I decided that I should lose some weight at one point in my life. Now, I wasn't a dietitian, so I thought that fat-free Oreos were good for you because they had 10 calories each, and I just had to watch calories in, calories out. So I could go little on my calories and go high on my exercise, and that would just do the trick. And when you're young, it certainly does, and it does it fast until you start spiraling in the other direction. So I checked myself into dietitian school and said, you know what, I got to figure out what the heck is going on. Now, I learned that an apple is healthier than a candy bar, but at the end of the day, I wasn't making that choice. And so what I ended up doing was paralleling a lot of my studies with psychology and cognitive behavioral therapy and neuroscience, really to understand, how do I make the choice? How do I change a habit? And so much of the Nuaria methodology that you're going to learn that's going to answer this question right here this evening is, how do I change my physical habits and behaviors? instead of doing so in a way that's all or nothing, where I change 998 things about my life on Monday and then I fall into chocolate cake by Friday or a six-pack of whatever by Friday. So I moved out to, we were here now in Phoenix, Arizona. Our Noria headquarters are up here in Phoenix, Arizona. And I started a practice and was coaching my clients on how to change their habits as a dietitian. And it was helpful. And it is of my humble belief that it's not going to serve you anymore to learn more. So much of the work that we do is to help you unlearn and unbecome everything that you've learned and become. A little more advanced conversation, but really, you're not here to learn anything as much as you're here to unlearn the habits that you have in thought, emotion, and behavior, which I'll explain in a moment, as well as unbecoming the stories and identities that you've picked up with yourself. You know, I believe that food was love, and so that was the story that I took with me, and it served until it no longer served. And so much of what you're here to do is unlearning and unbecoming. And if I were to give you a meal plan right now, it doesn't serve you at all. You don't need any more information. We have a lot of information. We have so much how-tos out there right now, but nobody's really at where they want to be. I think the most recent statistic around our weight is that now 40% of the American population is considered in the obese category. That's almost half. It's a lot of people, but there's more to that weight loss equation, which we'll chat about as well. It's not just behavior change alone. And where was I in the story? So I started coaching clients. And I thought I had to set the alarm for the sun to rise in the morning. I was a perfectionist and a fellow recovering control freak. So I obsessive thinker, overthinker, and I fell into burnout. If you've heard of burnout before, it simply means that you just go too hard, too fast for your body. I was diagnosed with prediabetes, anxiety, depression, went on medication for all of them, had migraines and digestive issues. Gained weight out of nowhere without a change in my food or nutrition, which for some of you, you understand that, and it's extremely frustrating. And it was then that so much more of the Noria methodology was born, that basically says that my thoughts create my emotions, which create my behaviors. And now for the past 12 years, Noria has been teaching you and myself, we're all in this journey together, that in order to close the gap between where it is that I am and where it is that I want to be to create new life circumstance, I have to learn how to think and how to feel. That's in the middle. Now, there's always behavior changes that we can make, but behavior change is only a small piece of the story. It's only a small piece of the story, meaning we've got to learn how to think and how to feel. And it was just life experience that brought me to this point here in order to be able to share the Noria methodology with you. Now, at Noria, we serve, we'll talk about the Noria weight loss program this evening. And now we serve anxiety and depression and even sobriety, just teaching us how to think differently to create new life circumstances that we want in our lives. So the question that we must answer now is this right here. Do you know what you should be doing? You're just not doing it. One of the very first things I always ask our clients, and now our health coaches and mentors are going to ask you, is just brain dump for me. And you can do this if you want to. If you're watching the video recording, feel free to just pause it. What are those things that I know I should be, could be, ought to be, want to be doing? I'm just not doing it. You want to brain dump those like this. We call them a brain dump at Noria. It's just take everything out of your thinking mind and feeling part and dump it onto paper. That's what you want to do. Hello, Miss Karen. We're in a webinar this evening. Hello, Renata. Very good. So ladies, welcome. If you just tuned in, what we're going to do is answer this question of why do I know what I should be doing? I'm just not doing it. Now, we're also going to talk about, of course, the Noria weight loss program, and I want to give you the full picture. And as I mentioned to you, that my single intention for you right now is just a heightened level of awareness. Because when you get that that moment of aha, you've seen something differently. When you see it, that your perception is key. When you can see it differently, that it opens up the world of possibility for you. And when you feel more open to possibility, then you really have it going on. So here's the Noria method, which is actually going to answer this question. Here's our behaviors. This is behavior. Behavior. So behavior, can you see it in the, oh, you can't see it right there. It says life circumstance. Let me move you. Yeah, you can see it now. It says life circumstance. So behaviors create our life circumstance. That's LC. So your behaviors. So for example, if I eat too much sugar, maybe there's fat or inflammation on my body. If I don't save any money, there's no money in my bank account. Your behaviors create your life circumstance, right? It's pretty simple. And a lot of us, as you heard me say in the beginning, you're like, what's the matter with me? What's wrong with me? Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not strong enough. Maybe I don't have enough willpower. And none of those things are true, as you're about to learn. So let's go with sugar, right? We're talking about weight loss tonight. Everyone can eat a little bit less sugar. So from our behavior standpoint, and this is one of the first things that I did years ago, is to say, here's my old behavior, here's my old behavior, and here's my new behavior. So decrease sugar. Here's my old behavior, here's my new behavior. Is sugar. I'm gonna eat less sugar, I'm gonna eat a lot of sugar, I'm gonna eat less sugar, or whatever that looks like. Now, most people, here's the trap that we fall into. Now, if you are an all or nothing thinker, if you are prone to achieving and accomplishing things in your life in a very all or nothing, go hard or go home fashion, all in, all out, 0%, 100%. Now, step back for a second and know that serves, that line of thinking serves. So if you're in a job, like, you're a dentist, you can't screw that up. You gotta be all in or all out on that. You can't mess that up. So it certainly all or nothing serves, but it does not serve when we apply it to all areas of our life, such as weight loss. So if I have an old behavior and new behavior, if I have all or nothing thinking, I'm going to go from eating, all the sugar to no sugar. 998 things I change about my life on Monday, falling into chocolate cake by Friday, because I've gone all in on my behavior change. And then, it's like what we teach right here. We teach a 5-step process, a 5-step formula that says, how do I strategically change a habit? How do I strategically change a habit? Something you have to know is that willpower is just a muscle. It's a muscle. You cannot cultivate a habit of willpower, meaning that you are strong enough and you do have enough willpower. You just have to learn how to use it strategically. So if I change 998 things here and fall into chocolate cake by Friday, you've just exercised your willpower muscle too much too fast. That's all, because the all or nothing thinking was driving it. So when I learned, we use what's called a stepping stone methodology, which is basically baby steps. We give you a formula around how to actually change a habit. This is the easy, top of the line stuff. So when I change a habit, I do it strategically. Now there's 2 points, is I use a stepping stone method for small steps. And something cool happens is when you take a small step, that small step is so small that you have to take that step and realize that the step is so small, but your brain's going to do something funny to you, and you're already going to be learning how to think differently right from the get-go. Your brain's going to say, that's not enough, you're never going to get there, it's going to take you too long, you should really just go all in, you should just do it all. And so much of the small step that you take is not about the small step. It's about learning how to think differently in the taking of that step. Now, you'll know that you have that right stepping stone when you use what we call the path of least resistance. The path of least resistance says, does this feel easy with little to no resistance? And can I do this for the rest of my life? Because most of us, we go straight to the should. Well, I should be doing this, I should be able to do this. What's the matter with me? Why don't I just have enough time? Already we're having to get over ourselves and get beyond ourselves, because that's all just mind. So the work here of behavior change is fairly simple. So as long as we don't overthink it, but that's another thought habit, which we'll talk about in a moment. So we teach you how to change a habit, numero uno. Now, here's the rest of the formula. Let me make sure I'm still in the picture here. Let's go, we can go this far. So our insecurities, fear. I'll talk about that in a second. I'm not going to mention it to you now. So here's our thinking or our thoughts. Create our emotions, which create our behaviors. Behavior, emotion, thought. We'll talk about this later. So this says thoughts, and this says emotions. So my thoughts create my emotions, which create my behaviors. Now, we all know, here's my old behavior, here's what I want from new behavior. If we say, let's just try and decide which way to go for a second. Let's just describe these first, and then I'll show you what happens. What's called the hamster wheel, which some of you, if you're like me, like many of us, we've been on before. So let's back up for a second. We talk in terms of habit. Remember I told you at Nuaria that we are a center for change. We help you close the gap between where you're at and where you want to be, and we do this through habit and behavior change. And our new Nuaria weight loss program is entirely centered around the 4 areas of stress, which I'll mention to you at a later point. I'll probably talk about this. So habit change, what's a habit? Let's pull back for a second. A habit is an automatic, autopilot way of state living and existing in our world. It's automatic and it's easy and it's effortless. You brush your teeth, you ride a bike, you drive a car, you tie your shoes. It's easy and it's effortless. In the same way, the ease and effortless of putting sugar into your mouth, feeling stressed out, being all or nothing in your thinking, as we talked about, it's easy and it's effortless and you do it all the time. We have habits in these areas. Habituations in thinking, habituations in emotion, and habituations in behavior. Now, for example, emotional habits. It's as easy for most of us to go be stressed out as it is for us to brush our teeth. It's really simple and easy. Common emotional habits are stress, frustration, anxiety, overwhelm, hopelessness, depression, despair, anger. If you're here with us live this evening, feel free to share some of your emotional habits and thought habits too, as we're chatting about this. So here's the, we'll take the formula one step at a time now. So what if, let's use an easy example. What if I eat sugar because it makes me feel better? Because food makes me feel better because, you know, sugar does the whole, oh, I feel better, I have some more energy, maybe I'm tired or I'm stressed out and I reach for sugar. You get this. If you've been down the weight loss route, you get this, right? So stress. Now, why do I eat sugar in the first place? Here's sugar, which ultimately, right, created my life circumstance. Now I'm using a really easy example. I eat too much sugar, then, fat or inflammation on my body. Why do I eat the sugar? Well, I'm stressed out, or I'm bored, or emotionally, whatever those things are. So here's the thing, right? Here's where much more, this is why you want to be at Nuaria and Nuaria weight loss. Because we are not in the day and age anymore. Behavior change is enough. It's not enough anymore. It's just not. You gotta learn how to think and you gotta learn how to feel in order to move your life forward in any area, not just weight loss. So I take the sugar and I say, sugar's bad, I wanna lose some weight, let's eat less sugar. So I do that. And I use up my willpower muscle. And stress is in my life, but I use my willpower muscle. And then, at the end of the week, I'm exhausted. I didn't get enough sleep. And so, boom, 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 here's stress again, right? I've used up all my willpower at the end of the week. Have you been on this thing called the hamster wheel? This is the hamster wheel, right? This is the hamster wheel. Sugar, no sugar. Use up all my willpower. Stress, oh, back to the sugar. Oh, shouldn't do that, no sugar. Oh, stress, used up all my willpower, don't know how to deal with my stress. Back to the sugar. And around and around and around and around we go. You can do this for plenty of examples in your life, right? If we want to really, I'm talking about weight loss this evening, but if you really want to branch out and have this high level perspective over here, we call this any behavior, right? Your behaviors could be busyness. It could be shopping. It could be sex, drugs, alcohol. It could be anything you want to. Pick a behavior that you're not happy with, right? Now, this, again, not the full picture, right? So here's stress, and it's like, well, okay, if I want to permanently stop eating sugar or reduce the sugar and extend the use of my willpower and do it strategically, I got to learn how to change my stress. right? But what is stress? Stress is an emotional habit. Where do my emotions come from? My thoughts. Ooh, this is where it gets good. My thoughts. My thoughts create my emotions. My thoughts create my emotions. I could ask you right now, why are you stressed? Why are you stressed? And typically, like when I go to speak oftentimes in large groups, I'll get facts. Right away, your brain tells me a fact. Well, because I got stopped in a traffic light and I was late. That's just a fact. But what were you thinking? Why were you stressed out? Well, you know, I was late, and then I'm gonna lose my job. I'm going to, you know, like you start thinking about all these things. I don't have direct examples for you at this very moment in time, but your brain just starts going, and you have to really start discerning. You're not stressed that you're stopped at a red light. That's not stressing you out. The thoughts you're thinking about being stopped at the red light is stressing you out. I'm going to be late for my job, and then I'm going to lose my job. And then if you're in some of my stress seminars, you know that all thoughts always lead back to death because the brain is wired for safety and survival, which we'll talk about in a second. Common thought habits, common habituations in your thinking. Perfectionism, all or nothing thinking, catastrophic thinking. When's the sky gonna fall? When's the next thing gonna go wrong? Just a matter of time before the next thing goes wrong. It's gonna happen. When's it gonna happen? Obsessive thinking. Overthinking. Obsessive thinking is also like circling. You get on a thought and you just cannot get off of it. It just replays and replays and replays. And the overthinking. You have it's something your brain's chewing on. It's like a puppy, like you're just chewing and chewing and chewing, and trying to control things that you cannot control. Making up stories that are not true. Like the way that somebody looked at you in the grocery store and you think, I shouldn't have worn this. There is a drama, you know, I guess that's making up more stories, not believing that it's possible, chewing on that. There's a long list of habituations in the mind. So let's step back for a second again and really take a look. So here is you, and here is your brain. Here is Maya, and here is her brain. We are not our brain. It's one of the key components that you learn in your New Aria education is that we are not our brain. Here's Maya, here's her brain. The brain inside of your head has 70,000 thoughts a day. 70,000 thoughts a day. And those thoughts, they fall under categories of thinking. So if I have 70,000 thoughts and you and I have different lives, you know, maybe you have kids, you have a different job, and I'm over here doing this, we could still both be overthinking things in our lives and be stressed because of it, but it will sound differently just because we have individual thoughts. But they're all gonna fall under this category, so to speak, of overthinking, or trying to control things you can't control, or being a perfectionist, or getting on a thought and not being able to get off of it. I know this is a really weird analogy and I use it all of the time because it's such a good analogy. I don't know where it came in. It was probably one of our support groups. Just came in. But here's how I want you to look at this, is really the brain inside of your head that you are not is like a puppy. It's a puppy. And if we don't learn how to train the puppy upstairs, the puppy will go chew up your house. It'll chew up your shoes. It'll chew up your underwear. We have to go and learn how to be the director of our lives instead of the directed. How do I train the puppy upstairs to be a full-grown, obedient dog? That's what we want to do. Because it's oftentimes that we get lost in this chaos of our lives. If we go into our world every single day thinking that we are our thoughts, that we are those 70,000 thoughts a day, that we are those emotions. I am stressed, I am anxious, I am frustrated. There's a difference between I am anxious and frustrated and overwhelmed versus I'm experiencing stress and frustration and overwhelm. And then, you know what? Well, the sugar tastes really good. There's a certain chaos that happens about our life that is that we get lost in, that we over associate ourselves with, that we are not. And if we move too far down this path, and it was something you learn in New Aria is a disassociation, that I am not my thoughts, that I can learn to think differently, which will in turn help me to feel differently habitually. but I also need to learn how to process that stuff that I was carrying with me for a really long time, like that sadness, anger, shame, and guilt too. We've got to learn how to do that. But now we can have the conversation when I know that I'm not my brain. We can start to have a conversation of stress elimination, which is amazing, of anxiety elimination, because it's not your true and natural state. It's kind of cool to know that. So, why do I know what I should be doing and I'm just not doing it? Why do I know what I should be doing and I'm just not doing it? There's lots of places that you can get tripped up. I'm just not doing it because I've used up my willpower muscle. We talked about that, right? And then we talked about, well, stress is not something to be managed, it's something to be eliminated. Or those less than desirable emotions that you feel on an everyday basis. This in itself, the emotional stress in itself, even if the emotional stress shows up as overwhelm and frustration and sadness and guilt and shame and all these other less than desirable emotions we experience, it's still stress in itself. So we have one stress over here that's too much sugar, so I try and control that. But if I don't control it in a way that is strategic, I'm going to use up my willpower. So now I'm a victim to the emotion that I'm experiencing. This emotion is a second kind of stressor. We deal with 4 stressors in the weight loss program because all disease and weight on our body just comes from stress. There's 4 different kinds of stress: behavioral, emotion, thought, and self-stress, or eustress as we like to call it, ourselves, which I'll talk about. So why do I know what I should be doing? I'm just not doing it. And you haven't learned to change your thoughts and emotions, period. There's your answer. End webinar, no, I'm kidding. You haven't learned how to change your thoughts and emotions. It's not about the behavior change. Your path isn't about the behavior change anymore. We can do that. You can go online and you can find all the information you need to get where it is that you want to go. So why aren't we there already? Not because you're not strong enough and not because you don't have enough willpower, because you do. You are fully capable, fully capable. And when you, that's why Nori exists, right? When you can't believe in you, we're team you all of the way. So you don't have to believe this right now. Because remember, one of those thought habits that you drag with you, you're going to start seeing from us a new project. It's a hashtag project that says hashtag it's possible. Because after 14 years, there's one thing that I know to be absolutely true, is the biggest thing that trips the majority of us up is not believing that it's possible. So when I don't believe it's possible, so the brain inside of my head that I am not, is a 5 million-year-old tool wired for safety and survival. It's wired for safety and survival, meaning that 5 million years ago, there were only 2 mistakes that man could make. He could think there was a tiger in the bushes when there was no tiger in the bushes, and then he gets stressed and anxious. Or he could not think that there was a tiger in the bushes when there was a tiger in the bushes, and then he dies. So now we have stress and anxiety or death. So on one hand, this tool inside of our head that if we forget and think we are it, it's wired for safety and survival, meaning its job is protection from the unknown, protection from the things that don't feel good. If your whole life you've ever only eaten candy bars, like what we're talking about here is like me giving you an apple. You'd want to run the hell in the other direction because it's a solution. And your brain's like, well, you know, stress isn't that bad. Sugar's not that bad. I'm not really dying. Why do you want to change that, right? It's going to throw any potential something to stop you, like the it's not possible, which is just another excuse. But at the end of the day, it's not possible. The brain only has access to past experience. The brain inside of your head, which again, you are not, only has access to past experience. It's catalog inside of your head. So if I was a little boy who grew up in a poor community and I never knew what a mansion was, but I heard the word mansion, then I grew up and I got into a car and I drove past a 1-bedroom house and I pointed at the house and said mansion. I have no reference point as to what a mansion was because my brain only has access to what it has access to. And that's how I grew up. It's my conditioning, it's my stories, it's my beliefs and my family and my society and the world around me and what I see and what I know is possible. right? Just for a second, you've heard this before. It's not a surprise. Think of all the ways in which we're conditioned when it comes to weight loss in general. This is how it's supposed to work. This is how it's going to work. And then if I only have access to past experience, well, in the past, I've only ever lost weight this way, so I should be able to do it this way. And then when all the past experience doesn't work, then it's really easy to get frustrated, really frustrated, and it becomes even easier to not believe in something that's brand new, because not only do I not have past experience making it not possible, but it's like you eating an apple when you've only ever eaten candy bars. It might kill you. The brain is just trying to keep you safe and survive. It's its job. And it's done a really great job on it. But you have to know when the brain cannot take you to where you want to go. Which means that if I want to close the gap between where I'm at to where I want to be, and I want to go here, and here is a brand new place that I have never been to in my life, I have got to get beyond the faculties that I use every day, the faculties of thought habit, emotional habit, and consistent behavior. They say the statistic is nuts. So 95% of everything today, 95% of everything you think, everything you feel, and everything you do will be the same as yesterday by age 35. Holy cow. 95% of everything you think, feel, and do today by age 35 will be the same as you did yesterday. Meaning that if I want this new life circumstance, if I want something new in my life over here, right? We're talking about weight loss tonight. We work in many areas at New Aria with anxiety and depression and chronic disease and chronic pain and illness. When we talk about weight loss, maybe you've lost weight in the past, right? Maybe you've had these experiences where you lost weight in the past, but you never kept it off. And so you have this past experience that weight loss is possible, but what you have not yet had the experience of is weight loss is possible and keeping it off for a lifetime is possible. I'll tell you a secret, which really isn't a secret anymore, is that closing the gap between where you're at and where you want to be simply requires a change in your thinking. That's all. The support you need for a change in your thinking. Now, the New Aria weight loss program is, I'll just give you a quick background. There's a few of you on the live webinar tonight that have known me for a long time. And so the New Aria method, which is now patent and trademarked, so this is that our thoughts create our emotions, create our behaviors, and I'll talk about this guy in a second, is a framework and a methodology that has been developed over 14 years. And when I was in my own weight loss, my own burnout, when I was in it, I didn't see what was being developed. I couldn't see it. I didn't know what was being developed. It's like this work of art that was just happening. That was my life because I wanted a better way. And then I wanted a better way for you. So I started teaching. Fast forward to present day, there are many ways in which the New Aria method can be used. Hundreds of thousands of ways in which it can be used. But what I know for sure is that we have 14 years of proven weight loss success. So watch out, Weight Watchers, wink, wink. Then we're starting with New Aria weight loss. And there are 4 main components to the program. And remember how I had mentioned to you that we believe there are 4 disease and obesity happens in our lives because of 4 different areas of stress. It happens because of stress, period, but stress happens in 4 different areas. We have number 1, behavioral stress. Number 1, behavioral stress. Number 2, and we know behavioral stress as like, you know, if I'm going to be inactive, if I'm going to eat too much sugar, that's behavioral stress. The second kind of stress is habitual emotion stress. The stress of less than desirable emotion that I, number 1, experience every day, and number 2, have carried with me for a long time. That could be daily stress, frustration, and overwhelm, and then anger, sadness, guilt, shame. Now, the third kind of stress is thought stress. Now, this is something that our thoughts, quite literally, as I had hit burnout, something I had not shared with you yet, is that our thoughts can create fat on our body. Our thoughts can make us fat. Let's just say it. Let's just call a spade a spade. I think that that's the analogy people use. Our thoughts can make us fat. How does that do that? How does that work? So thoughts are the third kind of stress that we work with in the New Aria program, weight loss program. And so our thoughts, think about this, is that because we are wired for safety and survival, that I could either get stressed and anxious or die because I'm running from a saber-toothed tiger for my life, or a bear. We've evolved not knowing the difference between a bear and a box full of emails, or fear of our job loss, or the sheer belief that it's not possible and this is as good as it's going to get for me, or the baggage of the shame and guilt from past traumas that I've carried with me for a long time. There's this epidemic in our country and in our world, which is why the weight loss or the obesity rates are going up, is that we consistently live in a state of fight or flight. We consistently live in a low-grade state of fight or flight. Now, what happens in fight or flight? You've probably heard fight, flight, or flee before. And so when I'm running from a bear, I can't stop to go to the bathroom. I can't stop to eat. I need extra blood sugar to my extremities. My heart rate's going to increase. My blood pressure's going to increase. Your pupils change. You be more focused, and the adrenaline's going. And all these changes happen within the body. Now, the fight or flight or flee response was only designed for a short period of time. You've probably heard this before. It's only designed for a very short period of time. And then we get back into the rest, relax, and digest. So we get back into that, and we can relax, and the body can go back to its normal state. The issue is that we don't allow ourselves to get back to that normal state. For the majority of us, and some of you have ran into this after 14 years many times, a lot of us will say, but Maya, I'm not stressed out. And what I kindly say oftentimes to people that experience a lot of stress is that here's the deal, is you only know stress. Stress is so normal to you that your fight or flight is so normal to you. You actually don't know what rest mode is for yourself. Have you ever been to like there's got to be this, there has to be an example of this for you in your life. There has to be this one time where, maybe you went on a vacation, maybe you were sitting around a campfire, maybe you were meditating, and you just sank into this moment. You just sank into this, the beauty and the relaxation of this moment. And it's like your whole body just breathed for a second. Some of you have had this experience and some of you haven't, and that's okay. That's your natural state. That's where you're meant to be. Peace, relaxation, calm, and contentment are your natural state. And any deviation from peace, calm, and contentment is not your natural state. And so from a thought and emotional perspective, when it comes to your stress, our job isn't just to get you off the sugar. It's to return you to your natural state of peace, calm, and contentment. Now, I told you there's a fourth part to the New Aria weight loss, because there's 4 main areas where stress is going to come from. Behavioral stress, emotional stress, thought stress. But why do we think what we think? Why do we think what we think? I'll tell you, after 14 years, there's one thing that I absolutely know to be true about stress in our lives. And the biggest stressor that we experience is the stress of not being who we really are. Of going to a job we hate, of being in relationships that no longer serve us, of not being congruent with our values, and sloughing our lives over, sloughing ourselves over, running ourselves over with a dump truck with more addictions, more television, more sugar, getting further and further and further away from what we know to be the ultimate connection to ourselves and to our world and to others. Getting further and further away from the truth of our passions our connectivity, our creativity, the stuff that really lights your fire. The most powerful force in the world is your human soul on fire. That is where you are. That's where you come from. That's the most powerful place that you can be. Because when you have something that is pulling you forward in life, like your connectivity, your creativity, your passions, your purpose, all of these things, that is the biggest stressor, is not being yourself. And if you're not being yourself and not being congruent with your values and your, call it whatever you want to, your heart's desires, your life purpose, your passions, your creativity. If you're not being congruent with yourself, who are you being congruent with? Your old beliefs, your fears, and your insecurities. The belief that I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not perfect enough, I can't do it, it's not like me, I just can't, I fear failure, believing that they might find me out, that I'm actually not good enough. That maybe actually things like beliefs, old beliefs that serve, right? Food is love. That's an old belief that serves. And was the struggle is real. I got to work hard, and this is going to be hard, and that I can't eat the things that I love while I'm losing weight, right? These are old beliefs, fears, and insecurities. And everything runs in alignment. Everything runs in alignment. Meaning that our beliefs, fears, and insecurities drive our thinking. That's why we think what we think every day, those 70,000 thoughts. We only think what we think because of what we believe to be true about ourselves and our world. And it's either going to come from the true us, our true life pull forward, our passions and connectivity and creativity are going to pull us forward in our life, or we're going to be led by fear. And the majority, if you really, really pause, the second part of the weight loss program is this back here. Now we're talking about the second part of Lisa, the fourth stressor is back here. This is the fourth stressor. The fourth stressor is what we call eustress. And when I say eustress, I mean Y-O-U, not being you. That's eustress, not like the good stress. It's eustress. You not being connected to you. Not you, not the whole world. Some of you, I'm talking about level 2 work. This is part 2 of the weight loss program. So it's okay. If the words that I'm communicating to you right now, if you don't get it, don't worry about it. It's a little more advanced conversation. But the truth is that all of us, if we're not living from ourselves, if we're not being true to ourselves, which is the biggest stressor of all, causing the weight on your body, because that causes a consistent fight or flight, when you know it's just this deep anxiety right underneath the surface of your life, when you know that you're not being congruent with you, that is stressful. And it's going to show up on your body. And then you know what? Let's just carry the weight of the world right here with all the emotional traumas that I've taken on, all my thought habits that I've taken on that are not true. Fear isn't real. You're not being chased by a bear. So the thoughts you think in your head, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my job, that's causing the stress. None of these things are the fear that you're experiencing that are driving these behaviors. It's not real. The biggest issue that our world is having today is that we are trying to clean our house with a vacuum that is not plugged in to its power source. Nobody's taught us to do these things. Nobody's taught us how to undo the 4 big stressors. Because stress causes disease and weight. Behavioral stress, cool. We got that together. We got that. Emotional stress. How do I not feel these less than desirable emotions on a regular, constant, everyday basis? Thought stress. Gosh, all or nothing thinking, catastrophic thinking. Can you just how stressful it is to go around all the time trying to fix problems that aren't even real. That's what the brain does all day long. It's like a monkey upstairs that sees problems, potential problems in the future that don't really exist, that are based in fear, that isn't real, but I'm gonna go create a solution to a problem that I don't need, that doesn't really exist. Super stressful, right? And then the eustress, the Y-O-U stress. It says, you know what? Yeah, why would I focus on my weight when I don't really like my job? If I got to focus on my weight, it's one more spinning plate in the air. One more. How many times have you felt that way? One more spinning plate in the air. I should do it. I really should do it. I need to be healthier. Can't find the time. Can't find the money. Trust me, I've heard it all in 14 years. You can't beat yourself up though. You got to know something, is that this is a big reason we're doing this right now too, is that change happens in your life when you make a decision and a commitment for change. Change happens in your life and conviction will always follow when you make a decision and a commitment for change. Oftentimes, we come to this place many times in our life, but oftentimes we need to get ready to be ready. We need to get ready to be ready. We need to get ready to be ready. And it can be an agonizing process, but here's the thing, is that this process of getting ready to be ready for change will go faster if you don't fight yourself. So much of the New Aria weight loss program and the New Aria methodology is a new kind of therapy called radical acceptance and self-forgiveness and self-care. Because slowing down for a lot of people, we're talking about a little bit more of the deeper components of the program, but it's a really scary place to be for some of us, because then I have to deal with all of the demons that are not real, but they really seem real, that are the fears and the thoughts inside of my head. Your weight loss has nothing to do with the food. It just doesn't. It's got nothing to do with the food. You're smart enough. You got enough information. But having said that, what just popped into my head and something I want to share with you is what are these components of the New Aria weight loss program. So I think, you know, it would be cool actually if I share my screen with you for just a second since we're talking about it. And before I do that, so I don't know, I may cut this out of the video. I have no idea for sure. So I was going to mention to you at the end, here's the deal. Remember I had mentioned to you that this is the first New Aria weight loss, since we serve many areas, is the first place that we, here's our, I'll share our goal with you. And now we're certainly starting in Phoenix and Scottsdale, and we can serve anyone all over the country, which we do right now. You don't have to live here in Phoenix or Scottsdale, Arizona to participate in the New Aria weight loss program. But our goal is to be known as the name for weight loss in every household before you think of any other name for weight loss, because this is the only one true way to lose weight, because you are craving a brand new way to lose weight, because you are smart enough, you are strong enough, and you do have enough willpower. There are just 3 other factors that you have not dealt with yet. So my invitation to you for the rest of, this is March, so for the rest of March, we're taking $500 off all the programs, which there's 2 ways to do part 1 and then 1 way to do part 2. So we're taking $500 off part 1 and part 2. So I'm going to show you online because we've added, this is really, really cool. I should probably show you mine. I can email it to you. We added genetic nutrition testing to our program with your health coach. Let me share my screen with you and I can show you, share. Nope, we don't want to do that. We want to do this. Okay, it'll take just 2 seconds for you to see the screen, and then you should be able to see the screen. Cool, so you should be able to see it now. So this is the New Aria weight loss page. You just go to New Aria and click on the weight loss. And now, obviously, this is just what we talked about, right? This is who it's specifically designed for. Like, if you're just somebody who says, I need to lose some weight, okay, I'm going to cut my calories and my carbs and I'm good to go, right? That's a very small percentage of our population. So what you need to know, as we just talked about, is weight isn't the problem. Our habitual thinking is. Now, after 14 years, I'm not going to go through all of this, but this is what we have proven and time tested in our weight loss processes. These are the 4 areas, and the ultimate cause of disease and weight gain is stress. And these are the 4 areas of stress that we just talked about: behavior stress, thought stress, emotional stress, use stress. Now, here are the components, right? So we eliminate stress in all of these 4 areas. We believe with behaviors that the body is self-healing and self-correcting. This is amazing, my friend, is the body is self-healing and self-correcting. And this is what I have seen after 14 years of evidence. The body is a fat-burning machine, meaning that if you have extra fat on the body, it is because you have deviated from self. That is all. You have deviated from your natural self, and it is our job to help get you back to the natural self. one of the first things that you do in this very first area is we do a genetic nutrition test. You just do a cheek swab, that's it. It's just a swab of your cheek, and you get your genetic profile with your biometrics, sort of test your cholesterol, triglycerides, blood pressure, glucose, weights, and your previous dieting history. And I'm gonna fast forward for just a second to show you, this is just the behavior component. There is a three-phase plan that you go through in the New Aria weight loss. Oh, here's where it gets good. Listen to this. I'm really excited about this. Is right here, decompress. Decompress is phase 1. Decompress stress. Whoop, decompress the stress. So decompress the stress is, we're going to take your genetic test, your biometric screening test. You have 6 sessions with our health coach. And then we take your test history, and we're going to decompress you. And it doesn't have to be exactly 30 days. It can be anywhere. I have one gal right now who I'm working with who is in this first phase of decompress. She's 2 weeks in. Her blood sugars have dropped out of the pre-diabetic range down to normal, and she's lost 11 pounds. Now, of course, yes, this sounds like a diet. I'm taking you all off to all on. But then instead of going all on to all off, we take you in the middle. If that doesn't make sense to you, I'll explain that to you momentarily. That's just phase 1 is, hey, am I losing weight? That's just phase 1. Phase 2, I got to start unlearning, meaning that I get to reintroduce foods. Like, I really miss cheese. Let's learn how to do that. You got to learn how to eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full. This is on our website if I'm going too fast. And the last phase in 6 months is you got to learn to live. You got to learn to have your cake and eat it too. You got to learn how to go to your favorite restaurant, have a piece of pizza, have some cake, and continue to lose weight. You got to learn how to, you see this last line here? How to lose weight in everyday life without a structured weight loss plan. And this is where your brain gets a little wonky because it says, whoa, is that even possible? And my friend, it is possible. That's why you're here. That's why you need to be here with us, and that's why this is superior to anything that you have ever tried before. If you tried 998 diets and part of your brain says, I've tried it all, how is this going to be different? Already just in behavior, it is different alone. Then, check this out, belief shifts biology. Isn't that what we just talked about? What I believe to be true. Perception is everything. And if you are not, if you're letting the puppy upstairs chew up your house, there's going to be weight on your body, period. It's chaotic and it's messy. You got to learn that I'm not my thoughts, and I can change these 70,000 thoughts. At the same time, you'll join me in the support group for your emotions and learn a very different kind of therapy, this radical acceptance. It's kind of like a recovery program where we're going to, in our support groups, we take you through a process where you recover from your addiction-based thinking and emotion. And lastly, this is part 2 of the program, and is what we call heart training. And this is where you reconnect with you. And the last thing that I'll share with you right here is the pieces of our program. So the New Aria weight loss program, after 14 years, I know exactly what you need for your weight loss. I've tested and measured this to the extent. So here's what you need for your weight loss. Here's your resources. There's an online curriculum. You get courses online, how to change a habit, how to think, how to feel. There's a workbook, your genetic testing, your biometric screening, support groups with me, online office hours with me. You get a New Aria mentor. New Aria mentor has been through, she or he has walked in your shoes and thought your thoughts. And now they go through mentor training, which, P.S., this is a multi-level education. Should you decide that you move through part 2 and you realize that you love helping people, that's the next option for you. Our mentors are just like you and I. There's no difference between you and me. Our mentors have gone through the first stages of the program and they've learned to teach it, and now they serve you. And that same trajectory is available to you. Then there's a health coach, and then you are a part of your own accountability. There's much more on this website that I will let you dive into, such as learning to think differently, and all of our testimonials. And you'll see here, this is going to go on YouTube. It's going to go on Facebook. You could be watching this a year from now, and I cannot promise you anything will be the same, right? But what I know for sure is that today is March 13th, 2019. And what I would like to invite you to take a look at is this website, and know that here's part 1 silver and part 2 gold, and I'll take $500 off for the rest of March in any of these areas, in any of these programs. The only difference between part 1 silver and part 1 gold is that if you do not want the genetic test, this is where obviously more money goes in to pay for the genetic test, and the health coach will not be there as well, but you will get a generic dietary weight loss plan to follow, knowing that the core components around the stressors of the emotion, thought, and you are really where it's going to be important. Now, if you live this distance, our support group meetings are one for distance online and one here in the New Aria offices. Now, depending on when you're watching this, we're also growing them in the East and West Valley. Yep, you can read the rest of the website. I will stop sharing the screen with you in this moment. And if you have any questions, yeah, Lisa, we can certainly break that up into monthly payments as well. That's always an option. You can check out on the website that there is a, we use advanced care card. Like I said, a year from now, I don't know if that's going to be the same, but there's 14-month 0% interest financing available to you as well. I highly, there's no more highlies available to me. Recommend parts 1 and 2 together, parts 1 and 2 together, because that part 2 is the eustress. And this is please don't freak out when I say this. This is called heart training. Okay, so you have to use your own words because words carry resistance, and the work we do here is about little resistance. This eustress is everything. It is this level 2 is where I play the most with you, because it is where great possibility lies, and where you get out of the chaos that is your habitual thoughts and emotions, and spend more time in peace, contentment, and calm. And let me show you. I'll do it in purple so you can see this down here. I'll put it right here. Right, oh, purple doesn't work. Let's try, you may not see it if I try pink. Can you see pink? Can you see, yeah, you can see pink. Okay, so this right here, you see me do this a lot. This is, so right up here, this is spinning, come over here. This is spinning out of control. This place right here is high momentum of thinking, high momentum of thoughts in the wrong direction. Now, how do I know if my thoughts are in the wrong direction? Because my thoughts and your thoughts in the wrong direction could be, I can't tell you that your thoughts are in the wrong direction, only you know that. But thoughts in the wrong direction, what do thoughts create? Emotions. So if I have a lot of less than desirable emotions, tons of stress and frustration, and anxiety and overwhelm, even hopelessness, depression, despair every day, this is spinning. This is high spinning right here. And so our first job is to get you right here. And one of the things that we use in the process of teaching you how to think differently is called thought redirection. You use thought redirection and meditation practices to get you to a place of low momentum, high momentum, low momentum. So you know, this is yes, we're going to measure your biometrics. Yes, we're going to measure your weight. Yes, you're going to be losing weight. You've been there before, right? I'm selfishly hoping you're getting excited about much deeper work that is this, and you're allowing, oh, this is so good, it's the whole key to everything. You're going to allow the weight to fall off of your body because you are no longer deviating from self. Because you are spending more time in peace, contentment, and calm, in passion, connectivity, and creativity, because this is your natural state. And the weight only has come on because you deviated from that natural state. So when we get you more in low momentum of peace, contentment, and calm, where you naturally reside, you stop spinning. And remember, thoughts can put fat on our body. If I'm spinning, I could be thinking my way into fat and disease in my body every single day. So when I slow down the spinning, I have watched people lose weight in inflammation weight overnight, simply because they slow down their habitual thinking. When I hit burnout, this is what happens. People in chronic pain, chronic illness, burnout because of weight, if we have high stress, even if that stress is coming from our own brain and consistent overthinking, too much thinking all of the time, or we think too much. Thinking is a sense, just like tasting and smelling and touching, but we've given so much credibility to thinking. So when I slow down this and I spend more time in peace, contentment, and calm, then this is how we want to measure it, right? If I spend 100% here, can I spend 95% here and 5% here? Can I spend 90 here and 10 here? Can I spend 80 here and 20 here? And can I start flipping my modes of operation? And then, because a lot of people, right, this place over here, this is high momentum. This place is also high momentum of thinking, but it's high momentum of thinking in the right direction. High momentum of thinking in the right direction, meaning that this place right here feels like bliss and excitement and creativity and positivity. And it's funny because the whole world wants to go from stressed out of my mind to blissed out of my mind. What kind of thinking is that? All or nothing thinking. Nobody has successfully made this jump. I'm not saying it can't be done, but I haven't seen it be done. I've never been able to do it. We must go here in order to go here. This is what you're doing. This is the work. And you're going to allow, although because you've been through a lot and weight is a heavy burden to carry physically and literally and emotionally and figuratively and thought and all of these things, you're going to get the weight off, and it's going to come off fast and quicker than you've ever, well, then you pick up a diet, that's what happens, right? We initiate it through personalized genetic testing, biometrics, and your own customized plan, but at the same time, we move you into that third phase where you live. But in the background, what's happening is the real work, how to think and how to feel, how to eliminate all of these stressors, the 4 major stressors that's happening. So my intention for you this evening was singular in nature, and that was to expand your awareness in some area. I mean, I love, if you're here this evening on the, oh, we went an hour. If you're here on this evening live, just feel free to put in the chat box what you learned or what was a big aha moment for you. Feel free to put in the comments if you are watching the replay, because I wanted to go live on Facebook and Instagram, but apparently Facebook and Instagram are down across the world today. Isn't that crazy? It's like, what do you do? So we're recording it, and we will put it on Facebook and YouTube, and you can mention anything you want to in the comment section. Give us your feedback and your aha moments. That's what I really want to know, is your aha moments. And so our intention was to answer the question of, why do I know what I should be doing? I'm just not doing it. Is because there are the 3 other, we could say 3, there's 3 other components that you haven't taken a look at. Is this, you'll be fighting yourself to the end of your days if you go all or nothing. 998 things Monday, chocolate cake by Friday. You're going to be fighting yourself. You're not doing what you know you should be doing, because it's not the doing, it's the thinking. Is a change in the thinking, ultimately driven by beliefs, fears, and insecurities. It's a change in the thinking that will habitually change our emotion and effortlessly change our behaviors. It is not uncommon. It's actually in the testimonials on our Noria weight loss page. It is not uncommon for people to say the weight loss was effortless. I got on the scale at the doctor's the next year and I was down, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, and I wasn't really thinking about it. That's how it's supposed to be, because we're coming back to our natural selves. You're not here for a diet. Let's get the weight off so you can live the rest of your life. And I hope that you see this differently and in a new light. I hope this was helpful for you in some way this evening. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. I hope it was helpful for you in some way. I hope you're starting to see something a little bit differently in a different way. Just remember this, is that you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, and you are not your behaviors. You can change these things. These things can be changed. You are not a victim, so to speak, to them. It is really just a habit. It has become easy and effortless to think a certain way and feel a certain way and do a certain way. And when we step out of that certain way, it becomes unfamiliar and unknown. And the brain will say, this is scary, don't go that direction, don't change. It sucks now, but you're okay. And so you get caught into this thing, but the moment that you could step outside of yourself and realize that I'm not my thoughts, my emotions, and my behaviors, and I can change them. This work that you do of change work is getting beyond yourself, beyond your habits in thinking, emotion, and behavior. And that's really where we're going. So just know this. Last thing I'll say, know this. It's possible. It's always possible. You're not too old. It's never too late. It's always possible. It's always possible. You didn't make the wrong moves. Everything in your life, here's a thought redirection for you, is that everything in your life has led you to this very moment. And everything has served. How does that feel? If you tried it on like a pair of pants, even if you don't believe it, try it on like a pair of pants. Does it make you feel better? Because if it does, you have the choice to think that thought and to know that thought. I've chosen to believe and to know. There's a difference between belief and knowing, which is why I hesitated. I know that everything's okay. It always was and always will be, that everything has led me to this moment here with you right now to be able to serve. Have a fantastic evening. I love you so. Please join us for New Aria Weight Loss, which I am deeming the world's best weight loss program. Mwah. Bye.